Yeah, I have a very special guest with us as well, too. So would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, hey everyone, my name's Elana Miller. I'm a psychiatrist. I am a private practice mentor to psychiatrists and psych MPs looking to start their own private practices and or learn integrative psychiatry. And so you can find me, I'm the Psychiatry Mentor on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah, and I was very excited to have you on, actually, because how I got started in my own journey was from your program.
Yeah, that's right, I remember.
And so that's why I really wanted to have you, because that way the knowledge that you've been able to share has given me financial freedom. I'm able to live however I want now, and able to serve the patients that I want to serve. So that's why I wanted to have you on, so you can help out others too.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So how I wanted to get started was I wanted to hear more about your journey and how you really got on this journey of like having your own private practice and then teaching other people. So like, could you walk us through that?
Yeah. So I always wanted to have a private practice. I mean, I remember being in like first or second year of residency and diagramming out like my future career journey, and it always involved entrepreneurship. So when I got out of residency, I started my practice right out of residency, filled the practice after about a year and a half. But being pretty entrepreneurial, I always thought, well, there's going to be a next step. Like, what do I want to do next? And the most common thing that people do when they fill their own practice is a group practice model. That's like the next step for someone who doesn't want to just stay at their own practice.
Right.
So I started going down that path. But what happened was I found that like I like win-wins, and I feel like a group practice model works for some, but for me it was a lose-lose, because from my perspective, I'm doing all the admin work. I'm doing like the least fun part of it, and then I'm only getting 30 or 40% of the money. The other person is doing all the clinical work, which is its own really hard work, and they're only getting 70% of the money. It's like 1 + 1 equals less than 2, it equals less than 1.
Right.
And plus, the kind of person who wants to be employed is a different kind of person than I wanted to work with. The kind of person who just wants me to hire them and like do their work and clock out was not the kind of person that I wanted to like hire. So it was kind of a catch-22. And so I thought, well, what's a different model where I don't really want to manage another doctor, another psych MP. I want to just teach them how to do what I do. I just charge them a fee for that. And then it's their practice and they own all the revenue, and there isn't some kind of complicated revenue split. So it was like, it came from a place of reaching success with my individual practice, wanting to go further, and thinking like, what was the model where it would be a win-win, a win for me, but also a win for the other person, because now they have this amazing practice that brings them fulfillment and autonomy and financial security and all that.
Exactly, got you. So let's definitely work through all that then. So you said that you had your own practice, and then, from having your own practice, you were very successful at it. And so walk us through that journey of becoming successful in your own practice.
Yeah, what was the journey? It just, it wasn't that hard like at that time. I mean, I basically was always very entrepreneurial, so I did a lot of things that other people didn't know how to do. Like I had a really good website. I already had an existing like hundreds of blog posts that I'd written over years, because I started
you got started right after residency.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I started my blog in my PGY2 year. Gotcha. And I think why that's important is because, again, I always knew I wanted to start a practice. And for me, it was like the process of first getting like some SEO and getting some traffic on my blog. And those could potentially be like patients in the future, but it was also honing my voice and like, what do I believe and what is my message? So when I started my practice, I had a very specific belief system, integrative psychiatry, and that was a message that resonated with patients. So I kind of started with that advantage, and I also ran my practice like a well-oiled machine. Like that's actually one of the favorite things I like teaching others. I mean, if you just follow me on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, I talk more about the marketing, but it's like the operations behind the scene of like being very organized and tracking things like in a ton of detail of what works and doesn't work. And so I just started marketing and started tracking, like, where are my patients coming from? Where are my favorite patients coming from? How do I get more patients like that? How do I obviously like provide good clinical care, but also manage the admin and the operations in a really efficient way? So yeah, it was still stressful. Like, I built the practice relatively quickly in a year and a half, but there was still like lots of months where it was chaotic behind the scenes. Like the patients didn't notice, I don't think, like the care, I was showing up really well for the care, but just managing things and like learning my own footing of when there's no one else doing it for you. There's no like front desk staff that can set the boundary. You have to set the boundary yourself, you know? Right. So getting through all that, but then it, you know, I got through that, and now it's like on cruise control, and it's a really great practice.
Yeah, got you. So I think there's a few key lessons there that we should isolate out. So the one thing that you said is that you got started early. So you were starting marketing already as a resident. So that's a key point. And then the second thing was that you had an integrative offer. So you weren't just offering the traditional psychiatric practice, you were offering integrative care. And then the third thing was that you scaled very quickly. So in about a year and a half, you were able to fill your entire practice. So it's really helpful for us to see that, because that way, right, if you're an NP or MD watching this, you want to scale your own practice, knowing how someone else has done it can help them as well.
And actually, what you just said, I recently did a masterclass in my program, in the Dream Practice School program, the free program that I have, about how to, like, if you want to have a practice in a year, what you should be doing today. And it was those two things. It was building relationships and honing your voice, and then learning a unique clinical skill that is valuable. Like, you need to hone your voice early and start building relationships early. Like, not to go into a whole tangent about this, but with AI and everything, written words are not valuable anymore. It's so easy to have something that's written. Right. You have to build an actual human relationship with people. Like, like you can't AI clone yourself, and you know what I mean?
I can't tell you how many things I've seen online that, like, I know ChatGPT.
Yes, I get so triggered. I get so like, do not make me read something that's I know you didn't use M dashes in 2023.
Yes, it's those dashes, and then they'll say no fluff, no.
Like, it's not just this, it's this other thing. M dash.
That's funny, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, developing your own voice, the authenticity is what's going to separate like successful providers, private practice providers from not.
Exactly. And then the other piece of it is offering something. Like, a successful practice is one, making sure people being good at something and then communicating that you're good at something. So it's like the clinical piece where if someone just wants if someone just wants Zoloft or whatever, they can probably get that under insurance, under like psychiatry or whatever, probably more efficient than we could run. You know, these are like big companies that are like, their operations are really precise. But what they can't get is more time, more relationship. They can't get therapy. They can't get someone to spend 2 seconds talking about their sleep or lifestyle. So being able to offer those additional, it doesn't have to be complex, like just going beyond just, I'm just going to prescribe you Zoloft and it's going to take 3 minutes and we're going to call it a day. That's really valuable. And then communicating effectively that you offer something different. And that's going to be what brings the patients in the door.
Got you. And you're saying that providers can differentiate how they offer or their services through the integrative side.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. So let's say we have a brand new NP or a doctor, and not brand new in the sense that of training, but brand new of private practice. They're tired of their job. They don't want to do it anymore. They're thinking about private practice. So now walk us through, like, how would you get that person started with their practice?
Totally. In my main program, created this system for it where it's basically like just helping people avoid the biggest mistakes counts for a lot. And one is overcomplicating it. So psychiatrists or psych MPs, like clinicians, we tend to have certain personality types. Like, we tend to be highly conscientious, highly responsible. We like to cross all our T's and dot all our I's. But that conscientiousness actually works against you if you're trying to start a business. So what I see the mistake people making is like way overcomplicating the practice setup and then ignoring the marketing. Whereas like that has to be completely flipped. Like literally when I started my practice, I've told this story like in the program and stuff and on different YouTube videos. I got a patient before I had a way to document, a way to bill. I didn't even have furniture in my office. This was before COVID. I was in person. I was like, oh, I got a patient. Better go buy some office furniture this weekend.
Yes.
I just wrote a paper note. I like wrote a prescription on just a paper thing. I was like, she's like, how do I pay you? I'm like, I'll get back to you. Like being willing to just do things just in time rather than creating like complex systems just in case, because people will get paralyzed. Like I have to have this fancy kind of practice setup and a logo and a website and I need to incorporate an LLC and I need to talk to a lawyer and I need a lawyer to run the office policies by. Like, no, just literally get a patient in the door.
Right.
And then figure out systems only when you need them. Don't figure out systems in advance because you're planning for things that are never going to happen. And you're not spending the time doing what is most important, which is building those referral relationships to get patients.
Got you. Okay. So two really key things there. Just in time as opposed to, what was the terminology?
Just in case. Like just in time versus just in case.
Just in time versus just in case. So not getting paralyzed early on is key, rather than doing all the extraneous steps, which makes people feel like they're doing something.
Exactly.
But in reality, they're not really doing anything. Second, I remember hearing this entrepreneur say this once. He said, don't get legal till you get rich.
Totally. I'm like, you'd be so lucky for someone to sue you.
Yeah.
Like you know the number of patients you have to have before someone's likely to sue you? Like you wish you would like you know. Like just get some patients and then worry about being sued or like after.
Exactly.
Like get malpractice insurance, but you know.
Exactly, because you gotta prove to yourself that the idea, the concept, the marketing, all of that actually works.
Yeah.
So that's a super key thing. So okay, so now we have this Psych NP or this MD. They're just starting. What kind of beliefs? So we talked about just in case versus or just in time, right? What other things, mental roadblocks, do you feel like holds providers back from taking that leap?
I'd say there's like two things that sound opposite, but they're actually very related, which is one, just thinking it's not possible. Like, this just isn't possible. I can't do it. Other people do it. I can't do it. And so they never try.
Right.
The second, though, is thinking it's easier than it is and getting discouraged too soon.
Okay.
So it's both more possible than you think it is, but harder than you think it is. And if you go in with that attitude, you'll... Sorry, that cup is gone. That's fine. No, it's fine. If you go in with that attitude, you'll be able to be sustained through the inevitable dips that happen when there's discouragement, when things feel like they're breaking, when you're not getting patients in the door and you're working really hard. I tell this story in a lot of the workshops I do about what I'll do is I'll show a screenshot of Warren Buffett's net worth over time. And it's basically a parabolic. Is it parabolic, logarithmic, whatever, exponential curve.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's been a little while since an exponential curve. So in the beginning, like
compound interest.
Exactly, it's like nothing, shoot. And what will happen is people be putting in all this work and not seeing the result, and then give up before they have a chance for the exponential growth. Because compound interest works with money, but also works with time and effort, and you have
skills.
Exactly. You have to give yourself a chance to compound. And I tell people, all you have to do with business in general is just give up after everyone else. I actually find this reassuring. I'm just because I can get through anything. Nothing will make me give up. It's just, okay, I cannot figure this out, but all I have to do is be the last one here to give up, and then I'll get what I want.
Win. Yeah,
exactly. The air's kind of thin at the top because a lot of people aren't willing to do it.
Right.
And it's not even they're not willing to work. Anyone who's watching this who's a clinical provider, went through school, they worked really hard, they got good grades, but it's being able to tolerate the discomfort of doubt telling you you're not going to make it, it's not going to work, and just doing it anyway. Yeah,
and really just persisting through it. I remember I had this experience when I just first started. I was doing all this marketing, and I was it's not working. It's not working. I remember posting in your group. I'm it's not why am I not successful?
Yeah.
And then I just kept pushing out content, and then all of a sudden I had like 3 patients that month.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like I just needed that
Yeah.
initial boost.
When, yeah.
And I was like, okay, like I can do this. Like that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was that initial boost that made the difference for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you found that those are the 2 roadblocks. People not even believing it's possible, and then 2, not realizing how much it's going to take more work than they realize once they do cross that. Okay.
Yeah.
So then how do you help them, so now they're just getting started, right? Like, so how do they kind of take that to the next level? How do they start getting patients? Like, that's the biggest thing you said, right? It's just getting the patient in the door.
Yeah, so it's like, what I just described is like sorry, let me just do this so it stops. What I just described is kind of like the mindset piece of it, which is like step 1, just being in a mindset, I want to do this and I'm not going to give up. Then step 2 is kind of the logistics we talked about, which is setting up the practice in a really minimum way. I call it like minimum viable practice, which is from this book, The Lean Startup, by this guy, Eric Ries. It's relevant to the tech world, but the idea is it comes from the term minimum viable product, like a version of a software that's very like stripped down, and you release it to the public and see if they like it or not, and then as opposed to spending like a year developing a software that no one wants. So I tell people to do the same thing with their practice. Minimum viable, again, don't set up like crazy systems and the LLC and the lawyer and all that till like you get some traction. So the absolute minimum setup to see your first patients, which is really like malpractice insurance, an email address, a phone number. You do want to have e-prescribe because like you can't do stimulants without e-prescribe, but in a pinch, you basically can call in any other prescription. Right. You don't even need that like on your first day. So just the minimum viable, and then all your effort has to go to building relationships with potential referral partners. And like, it's so much harder. People just are so much more cynical now. And also there's like, what's happened is all those big telepsych companies, Psychiatry, Brightside, they've kind of like taken up the low hanging fruit of people who just want a medication. So it is like a little bit more work in order to reach those patients that want the value. I mean, there's 100% there. Yes. They're absolutely there. But you can't just like go to a random therapist, be like, send me patients. The therapist is gonna be like, who are you? And like, are you good? Like, how could I know I could trust you with my patients? You have to give referral sources a reason to believe you're good at what you do. And so like, I'll give you an example, and persistence matters too. So doing things in person is working a lot better. Like, and sorry, I'm talking a lot. Is this too?
No, keep going. Yeah.
Because I know I'm going in circles a little bit, but I want to like even take a step back. It's the marketing starts with who you are and what makes you different and what differentiates you.
Right.
You can't just be Joe Schmo psychiatrist down the street, because like then what you're going to attract are patients who just want to see you because you're available tomorrow, and you'll give them their Adderall Xanax combo they're really looking for, and that you don't have any boundaries and all that stuff. That's not what you want people to be like, your value proposition to be. Right. So you have to give people a reason to pick you. And what I teach is that's already there. You maybe just don't recognize it in yourself. It's about like mining your unique clinical experience and lived experience, and like how that informs your philosophy for how you see patients. And so like I'm sure everyone watching this now, there's something about your story, like that even brought you to psychiatry, that's interesting and that's unique. Like something that influenced you, something you saw early in your training, something you saw in a family member, something you yourself experienced, and like mining that and understanding like how that influences your just belief system and philosophy about how you treat your patients. And then how does that also inform the kind of patients you want to see? And I tell people, you don't have to define your ideal patients by like age and gender and diagnosis. Like you can, those are demographic factors, but I say the real like interesting nuggets are the psychographic factors. Like your favorite patients, like envision your favorite patients right now. The ones like, we all know those patients you show up in the morning and you dread, like you're like dread your day a little. What about the patients when you show up and you see them on your schedule, you're like, I'm excited to see this person. What do those people have in common? Not just like age and gender and occupation or whatever, diagnosis, but like, what do they believe? What do they value? What are they like as human beings? Like what keeps them up at night? What do they dream of? Like identifying all of that and then speaking to it on your website. like having it in your head, then putting it on a website, and then that website's your marketing home base.
Right.
And then you go and you meet referral partners. But now we have an idea of who our ideal patients are. Like we have like this avatar in our head. Don't just go to any random therapist or any random PCP. Who else? Providers. It doesn't even have to be clinical providers. Just what other service providers does this avatar of patients go to in their day-to-day? So like if you want to do peripartum, like reproductive psychiatry, integrative reproductive psychiatry, don't just go to like any therapist office. Find a therapist that specializes in infertility, in pregnancy loss, in motherhood. Like find someone who specializes in that because they're more likely to be seeing those patients you want to see. Or instead of just going to any random PCP, go to holistic OBGYNs or people who specialize in women's integrative primary care. Because then you're more likely to have like a higher volume of those patients you want to see with those providers, because like you don't have 1,000 hours in your day. You have to be somewhat strategic about the direct outreach you do. And so focusing it with the highest yield providers, and then again, being persistent and building a relationship. So there's like so many people that are in my main program, Dream Practice Academy, where like they had to go to the office like 3-4 times before they were taken seriously. The first one is like, who are you? Sure, I'll take your flyers. The second time is, I kind of vaguely remember your name. The third time is, oh yeah, good to see you again. The fourth time is, oh yeah, we've got some patients for you.
Yeah,
like,
wow.
Yeah, think about it this way. Like, do you just start trusting someone random, like that you just met? You know, who are you? I don't know you. Like, I got to get to know you a little bit over time. So come at it from understanding their perspective. Like good marketing is really just about empathy. It's, I think, the same skills we use seeing patients. It's like understanding what the other person needs and wants, and how do we create a win-win solution where we're helping them get what they want, and then we're also getting what we want. You know, and so a lot of service providers or clinical providers, they're looking for really good psychiatrists or PMHNPs to send their patients to.
Right.
And so they're like waiting for you to show up at their office and build that relationship so they can do that.
Yeah, so that's the key thing. So you're a big advocate of is developing those in-person real relationships to get referrals.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so that's the number one, is that the number one marketing strategy you recommend for people starting out, or it's one of your main kind of like core
I'd
pillars?
say that's like the core pillar. The reason is that in the beginning, when you're marketing a practice, you want to start with things that cost time but don't cost money. In the beginning, you have no money, but you have time because you don't have patients yet. And like that is a very effortful like thing to build those relationships, but it doesn't cost anything. And then those relationships you'll reap the benefits for years that you have your practice.
Yeah.
So you want to start there. The other thing that I would say is low cost is like online directories. Psychology Today. You know, Psychology Today doesn't work as well as it used to because all the big telemedicine companies, telepsych companies putting their individual contracted psychiatrists on the platform. So it's like it's flooded with profiles, but it's $30 a month. Like you get one patient a year. You should be paying for Psychology Today. Like don't overthink it. But there's also like a dozen other online directories that are each around $30 a month that I think are worth going on, or at least trying them out and seeing if you get some patients. I really don't advise anything more than those two things until you have money. Like people sometimes will think, I'm just going to run some Google ads. Like you have no idea how hard it is to like, we talked about this. I helped you with your ads.
Google ads are the bane of my existence.
It's a lot of work. Like when I was helping you with your ads, I was like in it every day, you know?
I would rather make 20 videos online than do one Google ad.
That's funny. I'm the opposite because I like numbers and I like data.
Yeah.
I'd rather be in Google ads than making content. But it shows he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah,
like it's not easy. It's not easy. I
literally, after you did that, I did it for a month more.
And then you stopped.
And then I stopped. I was like, I'm done. I'm done with this. Like,
no,
I don't
exactly.
want to look at
It sounds nice. Like all I have to do is pay some money and get some patients, but it's like a lot more work. And so there is no shortcut is like what I would say. If there were a shortcut, everyone would take it and it wouldn't be a shortcut anymore.
Right.
It's not valuable if it's easy, because if it's easy, everyone else is going to do it. In fact, the only way you can differentiate yourself is to be willing to do the things no one else is willing to do because they're too lazy and they don't want to do it. Like, do the things that are hard.
Right. If you want to stay average, you do what average people do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we talked about 2 marketing strategies there. One was referrals from therapists, primary care providers, especially if they're in the same niche as you.
Yes.
Second was online directories. So like Zocdoc, Psychology Today, and then you mentioned some other ones as well. So speaking of Zocdoc, do you classify that as an online directory, or is that more separate?
No, I would classify that as an online directory.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. Because their monetization model is very different than Psychology Today. Yeah,
well, they get money because of every patient, that's scheduled, and then you pay that money regardless of whether you see the patient. Although I literally just had this conversation with someone a week or 2 ago about a Zocdoc hack. Maybe you're already aware of this. So they only charge you they don't charge you if the patient cancels the appointment within 24 hours.
Oh. Okay.
So what this one person I talked to is doing, this is like a Zocdoc hack, I'm just sharing this live first, is she would just, every single lead that came in, she'd call them, it's so nice to meet you, I'm looking forward to your appointment, I'm out of network, this and that. And if it wasn't a fit, she'd just cancel them then.
She would cancel them.
Or she'd get them to cancel, I don't know.
Okay.
But either way, they'd cancel, maybe when they found out she was out of network.
Yes.
And then she wouldn't pay that fee.
Oh, I see.
Exactly. So whether you do that, or even if you are paying the fee, it's like $75 to $90 or something like that.
$70-ish, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're charging, let's just say like conservatively, you're charging $300 for an intake. People can cancel 3 times and then you get 1 patient, and you're still breaking even on the cost of the intake.
Right.
As long as you're breaking even on the cost of the intake.
Right.
As long as you're breaking even on the cost of the intake, it's worth it, because then you're still seeing patients, you're still seeing that person for follow-up appointments. Plus, every patient you see in your practice is a marketing opportunity as well, because then it's like, oh, what other providers are you seeing? Oh, you're seeing a therapist? Can I call them and get collateral? Which is good clinical care. And then that's also an opportunity for you to demonstrate to that therapist you're really good at what you do. Therapists are shocked, like, wow, no psychiatrist has ever called me. Are you accepting new patients? So it's like a little web effect. Every patient you get is like a few opportunities.
That's clever, yeah.
To market a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah. So you can reach out to the patient's network as well. The patient could refer you to other people.
Exactly.
And then also their own therapist or provider or whatever.
Exactly. Like I'd say at this point in my practice, I just kind of want to stay at steady state. I'm not looking to grow, and I don't want any more hours. So I don't do any marketing. Patients come to me 2 ways. They find me online because of a blog post I wrote 10 years ago or something, like on organic search.
Yeah.
Or it's a friend or family member of a current patient. That's basically my patients.
Got you.
So just the people who your patients know can become, if they have a good experience with you, oh gosh, I gave your name to my friend or my friend of a friend, word of mouth just starts happening at that point.
Yeah. Got it. So that's another key marketing lead too, is the affiliates and referrals.
Yes, exactly.
But that's more of a long-term one. That's not something that's going to help someone get started.
Immediately, yes.
That's where that long-term vision comes in.
Exactly.
You provide excellent care, and then it goes from there.
And I'll give you another example with the referral building and relationships that people are having a lot of success with now is, again, you do that extra work, you go to the office 4 times, you build the relationship, then what if you could offer to give a free talk there, like an OB-GYN clinic? Oh, I can give a free talk to your providers about how to identify depression in women who are pregnant.
Right.
You're just for free, value based, and then that gives them a chance to see how good you are at what you do, and also just remember that you exist. Oh, and here are some flyers, here are some cards.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? We should send so-and-so to you. So volunteering to give free talks, whether it's at a large, office or clinical practice where you might be giving a talk to the clinical staff, or to the local church or your local synagogue or local community center or the local yoga studio or whatever, wherever your niche goes. like moms groups, if you're doing peripartum psychiatry, using that example again, offer to just give a free talk. As long as it's not like patients aren't there or whatever, you could film yourself doing it, and then you have content that you can put on your website as well. You can use for social media or whatever. And I think like the evergreen content that goes on your website is really valuable, because when a patient goes to your website, they're just scanning to be like, am I going to see this person? Do I like this person enough? They want to know just enough about you to trust you. Some people will read 2 lines and they'll just, yeah, this is good. Other people will read every single word on your website. They'll watch every video that you post.
Right.
So the more you put on your website, that gives them a chance to get to know who you are and what you do and like how that's valuable. It's like an extra chance. I call it, it's not really marketing, it's more the sales. Like someone's already on your website, but that's the thing that gets them into your practice.
Yes, so that nurtures them basically.
Exactly.
Helps them convert, yeah. Because I found personally for me, you know, I know you're a Google Ads fan.
yeah, it's okay. We're not for everyone.
But I decided to just lean all in on organic marketing and social media. And so that's how I was able to fill my practice, was through TikTok.
Yeah.
There's online channels, Instagram as well too. And so that's the strategy that worked for me. Because, like you said, and that's something I wanted to get into, because like you have an introductory phone call as well, right?
Yeah.
And so what I found is that when people came to me, I didn't have to sell them.
Exactly.
They were already sold.
Yeah.
Because they'd consumed my content and they already pre-selected that they were a good fit.
And that's like relationship building at scale. You make one video and it helps you build a relationship with an infinite number of people, because all they have to do is watch that video. And so like absolutely that's a really great strategy to do as well. Like not everyone's going to be as good at it as you are. You know what I mean? Like, and the same, like I couldn't have built my practice with social media. Like you had to work really hard to build up your social media following. But I think it just goes to show you, don't make it a slog. Like pick the thing that you also don't hate. Yeah. Because it'll help you like keep doing it and not give up.
So I'll tell you, I tried the in-person marketing stuff as well too. And I just got tired of it.
Yeah, sure.
For me, it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
You know, like I was going to these meetup groups and meeting up with different clinicians and therapists and stuff. And for me, I found like it wasn't panning out, but I know for other people it has.
Yeah.
So I think that's the important thing. You have to find the marketing strategy that works for you and that you can commit to long term.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
Yeah. So we have that one, right? So we've got in-person, we've got referrals, we've got ads, we've got social media. Is there any kind of lead channels that we've missed?
No, I don't think so. Like there's only so many ways to get patients or like, excuse me, so many lead channels, but the devil's in the details of like what you do with those lead channels. Like,
of course, yeah.
Like that's like, so that can make all the difference. But yeah, no, those are the main ones.
Those are the main ones. Okay. So now let's say we have a provider and they're starting to do some of this stuff and now they're getting a little bit of traction. They've got maybe 5 or 10 patients that they're managing.
Yeah.
Which is a great start. What's next for them in the journey? What kind of roadblocks will they encounter?
So there's like different stages. I'd say in the first 6 months, it's like you get some patients, but it feels really hard. Every patient, you know, it's like you don't know when's the next patient going to come, and that causes a lot of anxiety. Yeah. At some point, you'll realize, oh no, this is working. Patients coming in the door is predictable. So that's like phase 2, but then the problem in phase 2 is the chaos that comes with having a lot of patients and learning how to manage the admin effectively. When you only have like 5 patients or 10 patients, no one's contacting. I mean, maybe a few are, but there's not like you're getting so many emails or phone calls between sessions or anything. As you get more patients, then it's like managing the admin, but also learning to manage boundaries. That's why actually I'll have a whole module in my program around managing the boundaries and discharging patients that aren't a good fit, and getting patients that aren't a good fit to filter out of your practice, or like setting a container when you accidentally don't do it in the beginning. Like these are all these situations that come up in private practice of, it's not even like the clinical care exactly, it's the relationship managing when there is no one else doing it for you. There is no admin staff, there's no gatekeeper, there's no like front desk staff, you know, or someone else that's like dealing with it at your job. It's literally like this person wants something from you, and you have to manage like the managing the expectations properly while keeping everyone happy and doing a good job, being ethical, being responsible, delivering good clinical care. So I'd say like that's like the next 6 months is like managing the chaos that was created by getting all your patients that you get in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a key point, because like you're saying, when you're in the protected system, you have the admin. You can say, oh yeah, we don't accept billing for this reason.
Right.
Or you can have an admin staff deal with it, but then if someone is having a billing problem, you have to handle that.
Exactly.
When someone's having an ad or some kind of complaint, it's not getting filtered.
Yeah.
You're receiving that complaint.
Like every single problem that can happen will happen. You will have patients that don't pay, that, you know, that like push boundaries, that try to reach you after hours when you say you're not available, that take their controlled substances more than you tell them they should. Like all 100% of those things are going to happen, and you have to handle it. Yeah. Like, and you can't. I sometimes talk to providers who are like, I'll just handle an admin. I'll hire an admin person to do it. And I'm like, you're making hundreds of dollars an hour. If you don't know how to, and you're a trained professional, if you can't overcome your discomfort to do that, how on earth is someone you're paying $20 an hour going to know how to do that effectively? Like, you can't outsource the boundary setting. Like, you can for sure hire like a virtual admin assistant or something, but only once you've learned the skill for yourself, and you know you can manage it yourself. Yeah. Okay. Got it. So those are the main challenges that someone, let's say they're just getting started, and let's say they're going from 5 to 10 patients to now 40 patients. So those are things that they're going to be learning with. The admin, dealing with patients, all the boundaries, all of those, like running the practice type of issues. So then what happens as person's practice gets bigger and bigger? Now they're at 40, 50 patients. Like, what challenges do you see, or when their patient amounts increase? You know, at a certain point, like, and it depends on if you have like a side job that's taking up hours. But like in the beginning, like let's say you don't, or it's just a very small side job, you have like more time on your hands, and now your schedule is going to be more booked. So it's like, like what? It's interesting. Let me think about it, because like honestly, as I'm thinking through it, I'm like, not really any problems. Like at this point, you've kind of gotten through the problems. Like once you know how to get patients, once you know how to manage boundaries, once you know how to manage admin, the only other thing I'd say is now making sure you have a life. Like, you put all this work into building this. You know, maybe you're not taking vacations because you don't want to lose the income, and your head's down building it. But like, how do you have a life? Like, how do you take a vacation and manage coverage? How do you just cope that, yes, you will not get paid when you are taking a vacation, but you should still take it. So it's like, how do you keep it sustainable so that, like, because this is your life now, and you created it and you have it. Now, how do you make sure like you're enjoying it? You're enjoying what you created. Yeah, got you. That's such a key point too. You know, as mental health providers, we tell other people. Yeah. Exactly. You do it, but I'm not going to do it. Exactly. Yeah. So, and there's something that you were saying triggered in me. So when you have someone who's trying to start their just private practice journey, they probably have some kind of employment already. Yeah. So what kind of transition do you recommend they take going from that employment to full-time private practice? Yeah. And this is like, this is me and my loving numbers, but I've created like these very detailed calculators to which probably sounds on brand for me. These Google Sheet calculators. You're probably going to sell them on Google Ads or something. No, so it's like, but basically the shorthand is that this is the thing, is that you need to know kind of what you're making at your job, even if it's like you're not paid hourly, you're paid, like salary. But chances are you could probably, like, depending on what your personal overhead is, like if you have a mortgage, or if you are renting, or if you have a family you're paying for, et cetera, you want a side job that covers at least your personal overhead, and then a little bit of private practice overhead. Like, you shouldn't be renting a full-time office, but just like your EHR and those, like your phone, those basic expenses. And then hopefully that's like 2 to 3 days a week, and you're starting your practice on the side. People can do it and have done it with a full-time job, but I always tell people the same thing. That's going to work for about 3 months till you get overwhelmed, and then in 3 months they come back, I'm overwhelmed, what I do? Remember when we talked about this 3 months ago? It's just like very difficult to manage how time intensive it is to get it off the ground in terms of the marketing while also having a full-time job. So ideally you have a part-time job, start the practice on the side, but typically in the practice you're making, even in an insurance practice, even if you have an insurance practice and you're in a job, and that job's billing insurance, you're going to be making 2 to 3 times per hour in your practice because you're keeping all the money. Mm-hmm. Your employer isn't keeping it. So you could probably you could get rid of 1 full day at your job, probably only with 4 hours of your practice filled. And as soon as you reach that, you should cut back the hours. Like you should basically cut back the hours, cut back the days of the job as soon as you can so that you can focus more time on the practice growth. So I recommend I recommend a cross-taper. I don't recommend, I'm just going to quit my job, hope and a prayer, start my practice. It'll make me really motivated because what I see is people...
you have withdrawal.
yeah. And people just get really stressed and make bad decisions. They make decisions out of desperation. I'm just going to take any patient that comes in the door. I'm going to lower my fees, or I'm going to, they get,
I know one I've seen is that people will consider taking insurance.
Yes, oh God, 100%. Yeah. And it's if you want to start an insurance practice, that's fine. But don't do it.
Ask about Headway.
Yes, I literally I can't tell you how many times I've had that exact.
I know.
Since we talked 6 months ago, I signed up with Headway. I'm like, wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
What happened? And I've actually started teaching more about how to start an insurance practice once I started running the numbers, being like, oh, actually, you can make a really good income with even just an insurance practice. And for some people where I feel like their anxiety is too high to just start with cash, I'm like, start with insurance. There's a whole strategy I teach about how to transition that insurance practice to a cash practice down the line.
Oh, okay.
So you can also start an insurance practice as a stepping stone to the eventual goal of a cash practice. And an insurance practice will 100% grow much faster. You'll get patients faster. It'll be much easier to get them in the door. The marketing is much easier.
Right. But then there's some downsides with that.
Definitely. There's a ceiling on it. Headway or what if the insurance can randomly change the reimbursement, change the rules. One MP told me, oh yeah, Headway was reimbursing me X and now they just cut it down by 30%,
Oh, wow.
So whenever you have more under your control, because there's not 2 middlemen. In a job, insurance and the employer are the 2 middlemen.
Right.
In a practice, with this insurance, you have 1. In a cash practice, you have 0.
Right.
0 is better, but 1's better than 2.
Right. So you would advise that go towards the cash. If you truly want your own private practice, go towards the cash pay one. Mm-hmm. But if there's a lot of anxiety that you have or you need to fill quickly,
exactly,
then you advise going the second route.
I do.
And then potentially transitioning to the first route.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because sometimes it's the mental, emotional reasons, but also sometimes it's logistical. For example, let's take someone who has a full-time job that they cannot cut back hours. They're like, no, this is full-time.
Yeah.
And they have a non-compete where they can't sort of practice while they work there. So their choice is to either quit that job and get a different job that allows them more flexibility, or to quit that job and grow a practice really fast with insurance, which is actually reasonable. That's a situation where I would say if you have to leave the job, start the practice, get your first couple patients. As soon as you see you're getting traction, leave that job. You will have a little bit of dip, but if you have some savings, you can get through it. But then that practice will grow quickly, and you can, because you're making 2-3x per hour, you'll be able to replace that income. It won't take that long. So that's actually a situation where I would strategically say to start an insurance practice.
Got you. If they need that speed,
yes,
then you would say, okay, start the insurance practice.
Yeah, exactly.
So how long would it take for someone, or just in average what you've seen, how long does it take for someone to fill an insurance practice and versus a cash pay practice?
That's an interesting question, because obviously insurance is faster, but
some of them transition.
Yeah, right? but actually the thing I'm thinking is I think it's more about the person than what you're billing. Because what I'm thinking of is the range is all over the place for both insurance and cash. There are people who
You mean you haven't got data to track this?
No, you're not. I do not have this data yet.
Slacking.
No, I'm sorry. I do not have this data. I want this data. Now that you just said that, I want this data. We do like an annual survey where we get kind of that level of data, but then that was 6 months ago, so I don't have like more recent. But
yeah.
But just like anecdotally talking to people, there are people who fill insurance or cash practices really quickly. Like I'd call quickly 9 months.
Okay, cash practice.
Cash
quickly,
practice.
9 months.
Yeah, but the people who have done it that fast, I didn't even do it that fast. The people who did it that fast have like a very specific area of expertise, including psych MPs. Like I'm thinking of Jess Romeo.
Yeah.
He filled his practice. Chanel Thomas, another psych MP, focuses on the BIPOC LGBTQ+. Jess Romeo focuses on LGBTQ+ trans. If you have like a very specific community
niche,
that you serve and niche, then that I think is more determinative of how fast you'll grow as opposed to insurance versus cash.
Gotcha. That's the biggest driver, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 months for a cash pay, that's exceptional.
Yeah, that's exceptional.
Exceptional.
I would say a year and a half is good. 3 years is I would say like a year and a half is really good. 3 years is still good, acceptable. Yeah. And also the other reason it's hard to answer is that full means different things to different people.
Sure, yeah.
This is the thing with this kind of practice. If someone wants to work 60 hours a week, they'll just get a job. People usually, once they're working like 20 clinical hours a week and making the same they were working 40, 50 hours in their job, they're like, this is good, I'm good.
Right.
Like, I'm good. Like, no one wants to work Fridays. You know, full in a private practice is Monday through Thursday, like 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
You're like max. So, but yeah, that, like, I would use those numbers, like 9 months, extremely fast, excellent, year and a half, good, but 3 years is still good. And then think of it this way, 3 years sounds like a long time. Then you have that practice for your whole life, for like decades. And because you own it and you control it, like if it ever doesn't suit you, you can change it. You can cut back hours. You can stop seeing certain kinds of patients. Like I always tell the story, my dad's a psychiatrist and he's in private practice. He's like, how old's my dad? Like 72.
Yeah.
And my parents, they retired to Hawaii, but he still sees patients, like sees two patients, 3 patients a day, snorkels, you know, makes a mocktail, like it's living his best life, you know, because like when it's your own practice, you can set it up however you want and you have longevity. You probably don't want to stop working when you're 60. Like you probably like what you do and you can kind of keep doing it. So I just tell people like, yes, it's an investment in terms of that effort in the beginning, but you have it forever.
It's sustainable for the long term.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm sure like you've seen people who've joined your program. Who do you think is the right kind of fit for someone who like wants to pursue this? Like, who would this be a good fit for?
I mean, if like what we're talking about, you're just nodding, you're like, this makes so much sense to me, it's a good fit. Like, and what I would say is, if you like, you want to feel comfortable in your clinical skill set. Like sometimes I tell people if you need to get some reps in like a med management job, feel free to do that first because like you're just going to be seeing patients really quickly, but you get a lot of reps versus in private practice, it's usually fewer patients, longer appointments and stuff. But if you feel good, like at least good enough with your clinical stuff, because that's the other thing I say is just in time works for the practice, but also clinical knowledge. Like you can learn on the fly. And I tell people with learning integrative psychiatry, don't like, I have all these protocols and lessons on integrative. I'm like, don't even watch them. Get the patient, then come to a Q&A call with me and describe the patient. I'll tell you what to do. And then come to the next Q&A call and tell me how it went. Yeah. And then we'll talk about the next, like what you do at the next appointment. So you can learn on the fly. But I'm like, if you feel like good enough clinically, then like, and you want to start a practice at some point, you should start the practice now. Like we were talking about this at lunch. People always have reasons. I definitely want to do this. I'm gonna in 6 months. Like if you're in training or something, then obviously. But it takes, because again, it's more possible, but it's harder and takes longer. Like you want to start the compound interest cycle now. Like you want to start putting your first dollars in that metaphorical bank account like now. And actually we didn't talk about this at lunch. Like one of the things I'm working on with my main program is like a ramp up we're calling it the momentum track, like a ramp up where it's like people can come in and it's like a lower cost, but to like get like the process going, and then when they're ready,
get the wins,
and they're ready for like the more full, like us coaching them through all the details, then upgrading.
Oh,
yeah. So we're kind of working through like how we can help people who don't like need some encouragement to feel like they're ready. But yeah, if you want to do a practice and you feel ready, like you should do it. And I think you should do it now.
Yeah. And I think what separates your program from others is that, because I was looking around a lot, actually, it's the only one that I found that is for psychiatry providers. All the others are for therapists.
Exactly.
There's so many I came across for therapists. And yours was the only one for psychiatric providers.
Yes.
When I was in residency, that's what I needed.
Yeah. No, I truly like. We were meeting with the Google Ads rep, Kate and I, this morning for our program, and he was asking like, well, like, who are your competitors? We can like see what, like, look at keywords based on. And I'm like, I don't know if we have competitors. We are the best and the biggest at what we do, which is this very specific, like helping psychiatric providers start private practices and learn integrative psychiatry. There are other programs that teach you integrative psychiatry standalone, but don't teach the business. Because the thing is, you learn integrative psychiatry, but then how are you going to practice it? Like no one's paying you to do that in a job. Like you could try to squeeze it into an appointment. Like you really have to have your own practice to be able to do that level of care.
Agreed.
And so,
and you have to market. You have to know how to market that's what you offer.
Exactly. And so, probably people watching this are getting the sense of how detail oriented I am. You know, like every detail we cover. Yeah. Like people compliment that what we do is the most thorough. Like no stone left unturned of getting your mindset right in the beginning, getting the minimum viable practice, the marketing, the website, differentiating yourself, dealing with the boundary issues when they start, having good patient experiences, learning the clinical care, advanced operations, advanced marketing, and all that stuff, and like what we're kind of expanding too of, this is like the main coaching program, the Dream Practice Academy one, but we have the free program, Dream Practice School, actually like on School, if you guys are on his school program, it's the same platform, you can search it out, and then also like some like lower ticket ways so you can start getting some value from us and to kind of build that trust that you need to build before like people are ready to invest in something like a bigger program.
Yeah, so I'll share a story with you. I think it's a good testimonial. So I have this patient I'm working with, and so he's a like early 30s engineer. And so this guy, we do medication stuff for anxiety, but we do diet and exercise type of coaching. This guy, he tracks his calories, and he'll send me a weekly report of the calories he's consuming because we're trying to help him lose weight. Yeah. We're doing some exposure work to help with anxiety as well. This guy's he's an engineer, so he's data oriented as well. He follows everything that I tell him. Yeah, that's the best. Super appreciative. Yeah. And pays over $500 an hour, right? And is very, and I'm able to get him reimbursement for insurance too, out of network. Yeah. So it's all win-win. I'm always happy to see this guy. Yeah. He has, he's very appreciative of the work we do together. He doesn't want to see a therapist because he's like, hey, I do all my work with Dr. Dewan every 2 weeks, so we're good. And that's only possible in this integrative model. Yeah, the practicing this way is incredibly rewarding. A lot of times people think of private practice in terms of making more money, but the reason to really do it, I think, is to have more autonomy, to have like control over your destiny, and then to feel good, like be excited when you wake up in the morning about what you're gonna do. When you go to bed, feel good about what you did and satisfied. Right. Like I have hard days and stuff, but every day I'm like, I feel good about what I did. I feel like I helped people. Like whether it's like my patients or the people in my program, like having an impact. Like it's hard to enjoy your life if you don't feel good about what you do between like 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. or whatever. Like, and so I think that is like that quality of life and being happy with your profession and your vocation is the real reason to do private practice. Yeah, and I think with this kind of model, you can help a few more patients exceptionally. Exactly. Rather than helping a large amount of people just average or like below average. Exactly. Like I have patients that they will tell me I've
transform their life.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a high volume of patients, because again, it's like my practice is smaller, but people were like, I significantly changed the trajectory of their life. Like, that's feels so cool. You know, it's like you described with that patient. It's so rewarding. You're like, this person's whole life is going to be better because of something I did and in a way that I helped them. And you just can't do that. Even if you're the best clinician in the world, if you're seeing people every 15 minutes, you just can't. Like, there's not enough time. There's not enough bandwidth that you have. Like, you're probably burnt out. It just you yourself are being limited in that system.
Exactly. Yeah. So no, thank you for sharing all that. Thank you for sharing all your expertise.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for doing this. This was fun.
Was there anything else you wanted to mention that we didn't cover? You feel like people should know?
I don't think so. Like, I'd say if you thought this was interesting and you want to hear more from me, I'm not on TikTok actually. I just got a TikTok account, but I'm not on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm the Psychiatry Mentor on Instagram, the Psychiatry Mentor on YouTube. And then I have that free community Dream Practice School, which is on the same platform school that he's on. So feel free to join that community, and then we can start there.
Yeah. How do you feel like answering some questions?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what kind of questions we got there. So I'm worried about how many PMHNPs have popped up over the past 5 years. Is it oversaturated? Everyone
will say this. Like, again, this is first of all, two things is that the demand for psychiatric care is here and supply is here, even though there are a lot more NPs now than there used to be. We're still like, it's creeping up, but demand is still higher than supply. That being said, where your competition is really coming from is not like other solo practice PMHNPs. It's from Psychiatry, Brightside, Cerebral. I mean, those companies are seeing so many more combined patients than if you combined all of the private practice providers. So it still means that in order to be successful, you have to demonstrate that you are offering something different than those providers. So, but you shouldn't be worried about that competition. You should think of your competition as like those big venture-funded, private equity-owned companies that are like, this is why like Google Ads are impossible now. They're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a day on ads. I only know this because my husband's business, my husband has a telemedicine company.
$100,000 on ads?
$300,000 a day.
Ooh, like Psychiatry?
Cerebral.
Oh, Cerebral, wow.
And like, so just, that's why with Google Ads, I'm like, you can't outspend them. They're flooding the Psychology Today. You can't compete by doing more. You have to, by being like in any shallow way, by going deep. But if you go deep, most people aren't willing to do the work it requires to do this. All you have to do is give up after everyone else, like, and you will do it. Like, or just to not give up. There's like room for all of us. You just have to not give up, and be motivated by the patients that you're going to help at the other end of it too.
Yeah. So staying with it, not giving up. Realizing that you have to be, the way to succeed is to be different.
Yes.
Not to just get in the same saturated market like everyone else.
100%. Yeah.
So English Toffee asks, what is her business called?
My practice, my practice is Zen Psychiatry. My main website is zenpsychiatry.com. That's like my clinical practice. And I wrote a blog for a long time. I'm a cancer survivor, and I wrote about that on that blog. But my brand for coaching psychiatrists, psych providers is the Psychiatry Mentor.
The Psychiatry Mentor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so you can find her on Instagram. English Toffee says, and YouTube, right?
Yes, YouTube. Yeah.
Tips for increasing patient volume.
I assume like from marketing, like a marketing. Yeah. It's kind of like the stuff that we talked about, but there's only so many ways to get patients. Referrals, online directories, paid methods, but there's like social media, but there's the devil's in like the execution and doing it long enough to get some traction. And here's one thing I would say. Don't try to do all of those things. Pick two and be really good at it. Be really good at two marketing channels, and then you don't have to do all of them.
Exactly. You find what channels work the best for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then we have a question. What does an integrative practice mean? That's a good question.
Yeah, right. I kind of skipped over that. Like integrative psychiatry, it's not alternative medicine or alternative psychiatry. It's also not functional medicine, which are functional psychiatry, which is like a subset within it. It's a way of approaching patient care that is relationship-based and holistic. So it doesn't just take into account, it's not just prescribing medications, but it's addressing all facets of that person, which can be biological, and the biological piece can be pharmaceuticals. It also could be nutraceuticals, supplements that are, a lot of supplements have evidence-based and can be complementary to the medication. It's addressing someone's psychology through therapy and coaching. It's addressing someone's lifestyle, what they eat, how they move, their exercise, how they sleep, and then someone's spirituality and the meaning and purpose. And you don't have to address all of those things in every patient, but in any given patient, again, like I said, do two things with marketing. In any given patient, probably two things are the most imbalanced. Maybe it's biological and spiritual. Maybe it's lifestyle and biological. But you're identifying those things, and then you're addressing those with like a comprehensive approach that's respective of the patient's belief systems. You know, I'm going on a slight tangent, but like, there's interesting research in psychiatry that the thing that predicts outcomes is the relationship more so than the medication you prescribe. So, for example, there's a study looking at patients rating their psychiatrist from like 1 to 5 in terms of the rapport. And those psychiatrists who were rated the highest on rapport got better results with their patients prescribing a placebo than the patients or the psychiatrist rated the lowest did prescribing a medication.
Right.
Like, that to me is crazy. Like, they're like, you could prescribe the best psychopharm, and if you just suck as a human being, you're not going to get, and you could just prescribe a placebo, but if you really have a really good relationship with your patients, you'll have a better outcome. I'm not recommending placebos, but I'm just saying there's room for like listening to your patients and giving them treatment that you feel comfortable with, but also that is like allowing them to influence and have it be a collaborative process, and the results will actually be better.
Yeah. Something I teach my students as well is that every relationship or every patient encounter is a chance for like a therapeutic encounter.
100%. Yeah.
Even if it's like 20 minutes of supportive, like you kind of have that in mind that every kind of thing I do is therapeutic for the patient.
Yeah.
I almost think of it like surgery.
Yeah,
I know you wanted to do surgery at one point, right? So, you know, the more you can be precise in your words, your mannerisms, your body language, like the things you say, how you say them, what order you say them in. That is almost like you're doing verbal surgery.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
How would the NP make money if they're not prescribing or get insurance to cover it? Oh, so you could talk about outer network coverage too. So like,
I'm not sure, like a cash pay practice?
So in a cash pay practice,
a lot
of people, patients, they want to use the outer network benefits.
Oh, yes, exactly. Like, so I'm out of network, I'm not credentialed with insurance, but still any medication I prescribe or a lab test I order is still covered by the patient's insurance. And then,
that's key.
Yeah, patients, if they have a PPO insurance, like that allows for out of network reimbursement, I give them a super bill. They can submit that to their insurance and get at least some reimbursement back for the fees that they paid me. Also, if patients have like an HSA, like a health savings account, they can use that to pay for out-of-network care. So there's lots of ways that you can help make it more manageable for the patient.
Yeah, and the super bill is key too. So I do a lot of that. So I'll use the Reimbursify, like you mentioned. And so let's say I charge a couple $100s for a visit. Well, the patient might get 60 to 70% of that reimbursed by the out-of-network care. And I've had plenty of patients have that. So like that's something I try to do to make sure that at least the patient is able to get something
Absolutely. Out of it. Yeah. There's ways to definitely make it more manageable for patients.
Yeah. What about payment plans if a patient can't afford it? Is that something that you ever teach?
I don't recommend it. I'll tell you why. I think a payment plan makes sense for something that you buy once and then use ongoing, like a car or a house or like something like that. But the problem with clinical care is that, you know, you let's say you do a payment plan for your intake, and then the patient's paying that off, but then they see you for a follow-up appointment. Now they're like going into debt as they're working with you. So what I would just say is, if you want to see the patient, they can't afford it. I personally would slide my fees as opposed to having them go into debt, because also there's a pretty solid chance they won't pay you all the money. Like at some point they won't pay their payment plan. You don't want to be managing that. Now I don't recommend sliding your fees quickly or all the time, because it's this irony of private practice. The people paying you the most are like the easiest patients to work with. The ones paying you the least are the ones giving you all your headaches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so you want patients that see the value in what you do, as opposed to trying to like payment plans or sliding scale or stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had for example, one patient I'm thinking of, and so she had some job challenges and she wasn't able to see me, but I've been seeing her for a while. So I said, you know what, like I'll see you pro bono. So I just started seeing her. Rather than trying to do a payment plan.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had providers that's done that for me too. Like when I had cancer and stuff, and like that's when I've given sliding scale for patients, is when a patient who has been like in my practice and they're on like it's like a hard time. Like I'm still gonna see you. Or I had a patient who was bipolar and like was having a manic episode in a foreign country, and I like needed to see him every day. I'm like, I'm not gonna charge you. I'm just gonna get you through this episode.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when it comes down to it, we do the thing that's best for our patients.
Exactly. So I think a lot of private practice providers, they get the thing that they're money grubbing, or they're trying to just, only care about cash, nothing else. That's not true. It's about making good living for yourself.
Yeah.
Trying to provide exceptional care for the patient.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. CJ asks, how soon can graduate residents and fellows start to prepare for private practice transition?
I would say it's slightly different between resident and fellow. If you're a resident, I would, in your PGY 4 year. If you're a fellow, I think you did this, depending on the rules of your fellowship, you might be able to even start when you're in fellowship. So obviously check with the program, don't go against their rules. But I would say you should, if you're in training and know you want to do this, a year before you want to see your first patient, start like planting the seeds. And actually that's like with the Dream Practice Academy, this momentum track we're working on is for, say, people who are like, want to do it in 12 months, but like, need the specific plan
they
of
need
what
that runway.
They need the runway, so that because what you don't want to graduate and then you're just starting and then it takes you 6 months to get momentum. You want to hit the ground running the second you are able to see patients, and maybe even in the last 4 months you see a patient here. You're not technically supposed to do that, but maybe you sneak a patient in or two just to run some of those reps. So that's what I would say, a year before you want to see your first patient.
Yeah, because for me, I started maybe January of my 4th year.
Okay.
And so I joined 6 months before I was going to
That's right.
graduate.
That's right.
Yeah, and was slowly kind of just getting all the pieces ready.
Yeah.
And then June, July came around, and then started.
Exactly. And if you can't do a year, I would say the minimum is 3 months. 3 months to to do the core prep to be able to see your first patient. So I don't mean to make it sound like you have to do all this work over the course of the year. It's more like if you want the extra credit, what will lead you best off, it's having that kind of runway.
Yeah. And the advantage I found was that, right after graduating fellowship, I had a practice going. So I'm only a year out now, and I have a practice going, online program going. So that's because I started early.
Yeah.
That was the difference.
Exactly.
So no, I think that makes great sense. And then Lex asks, what are the barriers to entry and opening up a private practice?
Honestly, the barriers to entry, you need malpractice insurance.
Right.
You want an email address and a phone number, so you're not calling people from your cell phone.
Account, right?
What would you say?
You want a Google Ads account.
You want a Google Ads account. Step one, Google Ads account. No, what I'm thinking of with this question is I just did a coaching call with someone in my program who's getting really lost in the weeds with the intake queue setup, but because she has this full-time job and she's got a whole stack of kids.
That's the EMR, by the way. Intake queue.
Yeah. And she's getting overwhelmed, but I'm she's really interesting niche. She's actually a pediatrician, but interested in like pandas and pediatric mental health, and like from the physical health standpoint, and even infant mental health, like so unique.
Yeah.
And she's in this very high volume pediatrics practice where she sees like 60 patients a day. I'm like, you could just fill your whole practice by just the people that you're seeing in this pediatrics practice who need to see you. And because she was getting so overwhelmed and she has malpractice, I was like, just make a flyer and start giving it to people. You don't need anything else. Like, she has an email and she has a phone. Don't even set up practice queue. Don't even have e-prescribe. Just see a patient.
Right.
And then figure that stuff out after, just so she could like get out of her head. So literally malpractice is the only thing I would not negotiate on. You don't want to be putting yourself in a tough spot. Malpractice insurance. And then, yeah, just so you're not like texting from your cell phone, a phone number, email, you could get a patient and see them and figure out the rest after.
Yeah, minimum viable product.
Yeah, that'd be a very minimum viable, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's good because it gives you the proof of concept. Like, it tells you that, okay, this thing works.
Yes, exactly. And then you have the confidence to keep going.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. You get that early win, and then you're like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then Vivek says, do you find there's less money to be made in integrative practice since there's less med prescribing?
No, more money to be made. Because think about it this way, if Psychiatry and Cerebral and all those companies can give you Zoloft for $50 a month or whatever, like, that's not valuable. It's all the other stuff that patients are actually willing to pay for, and to do it with someone who's well-versed in the psychopharmacology and knows how to safely combine it. I've had the same experience of Agam where, like, yes, someone could go to a therapist for cheaper, but they want to see me because they have the relationship. So I'm doing the med management, the nutraceuticals, the therapy, the lifestyle coaching, and being able to offer that all in a comprehensive way is what people are willing to pay for out of pocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think that's enough for questions.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Yeah. No, thank you for
thanks. This is fun.
All this. Yeah. And then where can people find you?
Yeah, the Psychiatry Mentor on Instagram, Psychiatry Mentor on YouTube, and then my free community on the school platform called Dream Practice School. If you Google it, it should come up.
Yeah, so that's where you can find Dr. Elana Miller. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
awesome. This was fun.
Awesome. I shall see you soon, okay?
Bye, guys.